All right, thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Universal Astrology. I'm Keeleen. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon, if that's when you're watching this. So, today is August 13th. It is 2020. And to kind of reintroduce my front screen here, on the top left you can see the date, but above that you see above the sun you're going to see a little Venus symbol, and this is indicating the ruler of the day. Today is Friday, so Friday is ruler is always Venus, and on the right hand side of the screen we can see the Earth with some not all of the elemental symbols. On the top, we have the symbol of the element with the most influence or power over the day, which today was a close tie between air and water. However, air does have about 10 more points towards it. Both earth and fire are in the negative today, so they aren't even showing up as symbols on here. So primarily an earth and water day. And then we have basically the same... most of the planets are in the same signs. However, what was it? Mars over there on the right it's still in Pisces. The Earth is showing up as in Leo. That's the one that I changed today, was the Earth being in Leo. All right, so we are going to take a closer look at this chart and also the angles that things are making. And honestly, I haven't even popped this open until just now. So let's see what's going on. Chiron and Pisces, for whatever reason, Chiron and Pisces is popping out to me, but it's not aspecting to anything at all. It's just very, very centered in Pisces. So why don't we check to see also if there's any fixed stars aligning to any of this stuff. Hyrdra. Chiron is aligned to Hyrdra. I'll take a moment and a minute to look up Hyrdra in a moment. We'll look at any other things that might be kind of popping out to me. The gray lines are indicating not perfect aspects, so I'm kind of ignoring them, honestly. So in that case, what ends up popping out to me more is the blue and the red lines. So we have a square happening between Mars and Pluto. That's been happening. So the inner warrior and Pluto, the personal power, is just really struggling again. Mars is so close to being out of Pisces at 28 degrees, and he is kind of just like can see the break of the shoreline to get to Aries and get back to land, and we're about to get there. We're about to be back on our 2 feet again, and we'll probably see that aspect pull off and not be a perfect square to Pluto anymore. So unhindrance to not being as much of a challenge to our personal lives as much, and our personal power being kind of drained into all the effort that we have to put in just to get through the day. So that might be good news for me and my hubby, because I know we're just like going through it right now. So hang in there, it'll be okay. Welcome to the Stream Manifest. Good morning, hun. Yes, it's gonna be a good day. You know, I think that's why traditionally Venus was like a signed Venus. It's always been that day of the week that it's like, yes, work, weekends on the way, you get to go out and play and have fun, and enjoy other people. Friday is always a super, super social day, and if you haven't realized that yet, Wednesday is also a super, super social, very social day. Hump day is like in between the week, and it's ruled by Mercury, so it's very busy. There's lots going on. You always talk to lots of people and have lots of different thoughts and ideas, and it's a great day for like intermingling. Whereas those two are just like the best examples of how days go, and they're still pretty traditionally met with that energy in the customs of living in America, just overall. Whereas I feel like some of the other days have kind of lost a little bit of their synergy in the mix-up of our culture and how different it is and how much it's changed, how rapid and fast and quickened it is. Like there's nothing slow about America. All right, so back to astrology. The other kind of interesting aspect that's playing today is the blue, which is kind of an off-kiltered trine. So it's still a friendly energy. It's not a perfect trine, but it's, well, it might be showing trine. Usually I see trines showing up as green, but in this program, you know what? I think that is showing a trine. And then these green ones are the semis. Yep, that's what's going on. So this is a trine from the rising point of Libra to the moon. Now this is interesting only for the hour that we're looking at this chart in, which is noon. So first thing this morning, I woke up and I went outside to sit in the sun for a moment while I sipped on some coffee, which I'll do right now. And thanks to Manifest, I will have a webcam by next week's show. So thank you to her. So it'll be here, and you'll be able to see me sitting here drinking coffee with you. Cheers. But we were sitting outside, and Bowden looked up at the sky and was like, "Wow, that's weird. You can see the moon." And we looked at that for a second and kind of observed it. It was really kind of a special little moment, but it was kind of interesting to wake up this morning, walk outside, feel the sun's rays, and then see the moon as a sliver. It's at 22% illumination. It's heading towards a new moon right now. So just a little bit of a side note that yes, the moon it was visible this morning. I don't know if it still is. So this trine is really only going to be special for a little bit of time. But it is interesting to note that the moon is in the first couple of degrees of Gemini. So its pass through today is passing through the energy of Gemini, and Gemini is the ruler of Mercury. Gemini has a lot to do with learning. So for some of us, it may feel like emotional classes are starting. We might see an ability to reckon with our own emotional life. So if people have been really feeling emotionally like strict on themselves, or really either overly reserved, or I'm bringing out the Taurus energy that the moon of emotions and tides are leaving. It's leaving the grasp right now of Taurus, which can feel really a lot of pressure. I know a lot of Taurus can be really passive aggressive. So if you've been feeling really passive aggressive yourself, or you've been kind of in that energy in your emotional life, the moon being in Venus really is going to be relieving of that. We're going to be able to emotionally make sense of ourselves through the moon being in this phase, which I know a lot of people that could really benefit from this moon transitioning energy. And when is it going to be new moon? Let's check it out, because it's at 22 degrees right now. So the thing about new moon, kind of occultly speaking, is a time, it can be a time of release. And the 3 days before a new moon, particularly in India, traditional, or Tibet astrology, is considered a day of needing high protection, and a day for dark spirits, things like that, to enter in. And then the new moon is more of a like release, a celebration for a new beginning. And then the 3 days after that is also just a really good day to get clear and cleanse and purify. So the 3 days before and the 3 days after are really kind of important. You are amazing, hubby. He just brought me a total coffee upgrade. Amazing. Okay. We live in Washington, where there's like a coffee stand on every corner, and they're so good. I've traveled the States enough to know that I was surprised at how few coffee shops other places have, because Washington has them everywhere. Thank you, Seattle's best. Okay, so new moon. We need to know when the new moon is. when are you new moon? The 18th. So in 4 days. So starting tomorrow is when in India there's going to be, actually it might be starting today because they're a little bit, no, they're behind us. No, they're ahead of us. I don't remember. I was looking at time zones this morning and I was super confused. But anyways, so they're going to be, that's kind of what's on their Tibetan astrology related minds is, and maybe even witchcraft or occult minds. And so what's interesting is I've been actually wanting to show this for a while, so I'll take the time since we're coming up on new moon. And what it always means for the moon and the earth. It always means that the moon is between us and the sun perfectly. Whoops. That is not what I meant to do. You silly moon. I guess it's being friendly with us. It wants to play. Okay, shoot. We need to go back to the sun. I'm sorry, moon. I need it to be like this. Okay. I'm going to get all right. There we go. So, new moon means that the moon is always between us and the sun, and full moon means that it's always behind Earth like this. Now, this plays a really huge role in heliophysics, actually, which is the study of the sun and Earth's field. So when the Earth's field, which expands around us quite a bit, okay, now the sun's field, like I mentioned in a video earlier this week, goes all the way and usually surrounds past Saturn. So right now today it's currently the sun's field is between Jupiter and Saturn, so it's including Jupiter but not Saturn at the moment, just because the solar cycle right now is at minimum, so it will be expanding back out to reach Saturn here soon. However, this plays a really interesting role because at the poles of the Earth, both north and south, there's breaks between our magnetic field, which allow solar particles to escape into our atmosphere through the poles. Now I'm getting into like climate and weather and science that's usually above us. However, the moon I'm mentioning it because of the topic of the moon, because other things are happening other than just, oh, look, we can see the moon or we can't see the moon in science. It has a lot to do with this, because when the moon is behind us, it's not taking or interfering at all with the solar particle stuff. When it's in full moon, it's like up and out of the way almost. Whereas there's a lot of pressure on the Earth and the moon from the solar activity when it's in a new moon position, where the moon is in front of the sun that's giving its cosmic particles and solar wind to us always. So we don't have to be experiencing a solar flare or oh shoot, you know what? You can't see this in Solar Scope. Dang it. I keep doing this while I'm live, forgetting to turn on the live capture instead of my screen. I'm so sorry. I'm caught myself though, so I'm gonna go back into this and I'm gonna show you what I've been trying to show you. I've been seeing what I've been seeing. So here we go. This is what we need to see, is that new moon means that let's get to current actual time and then get to the new moon that's occurring is on the 18th. So we can see that the moon is in between the sun and the earth. Okay. In full moon, it is behind us. See that over here? So new moon, full moon. So what I'm saying is when the full moon is behind us, we can see it while it's full light. This is when, you know, it's full 100% illuminated. But when it's in front of us, it plays a part in all of the solar activity, and it kind of gets in the way of our Earth system and causes this blowback. So imagine if we always have constant activity from the sun blowing out towards us, particularly from corona holes, which we do have right now if we were to go look on Soto. And we will, because this is universal astrology, and it definitely applies to the universal concept of astrology. Okay, so check it out. And maybe hubby can hook it up. Oh yeah, he is. He did. You're awesome. (211 angstroms). We can see corona holes and things really, really well. This will take a moment to kind of load up. So while it does so, I'm going to load up the research screen. All right, so welcome to my research screen. I haven't used this in live yet, so I'm kind of excited to do that. So we're gonna see it in big view here, but you can also see this down in the bottom right hand corner. And this is real live time stuff that we're looking at here. So at the bottom right here, you're gonna see the eruption that we noted the other day, a couple days ago. It's about to pop off here, and we can see how large this hole is up here. This isn't actually a hole. This is just a different light stream or light range that we use over the sun to see the different levels of light. So in some we're seeing a lower light and we're seeing more flat plasma. Some we're seeing really, really high angstroms of light. And in this case, it's just not even picking up on the lower ends of the image. So they're not showing here. So they show up as black. They show up looking like a hole. They're not actually a hole. This is just an activity with a lot different activity than just light streams, filaments, and things like that. What we know when we're looking at a large screen like this with big corona holes is that there's much higher frequencies of wind being blown through these. So when we're looking at a sun that doesn't have a lot of corona holes, or they're not as large and massive as this, we don't see as much solar wind. This why it matters is right here. I don't think I can do it from this one. I picked the wrong one. I need to update my list. Okay, so this is again the solar prediction model, and this is why the solar wind matters. The sun is always blowing stuff at us, whether that be little flares popping off constantly, or big larger CME or eruption events. Regardless, sun's always putting out its life force energy. Protons, I was corrected by my husband yesterday, you know, protons from the sun can get here in 8 minutes. It's just like the sun's energy. So we're getting real-time light from the sun. Like, that sounds funny to say, but it's true. And this is the kind of stuff that we see come at us. Now, what this is showing is all the way through the 19th as a prediction model. So the 15th, 16th, 17th, here's a big like blob of something that's kind of gonna graze past us. So kind of interesting stuff to see. Now this is the graph version of what we're looking at, and I'm gonna keep this up because later on in the good morning. I think Dready Girl, I think I know who that is. I'm pretty sure. I love you. Thank you for being here. Okay, speed of light takes 8 minutes, Bowden says. So, sun photons travel at the speed of light. Okay, here's what I've got to, what my brain does when I start talking about speed of light, though. Okay, so this History of the Speed of Light by Dr. Becky is freaking awesome. And so that's just what this makes me think of. So I'm not gonna get into light and speed and time right now. My brain already has a hard enough time wrapping myself around it. But people like Becky at least make it possible to understand in my own way. I can't explain it though. But this chick is awesome. She's an astrophysicist and a total goof. But she's really intelligent and really does very well in explaining things. And her behind-the-scenes stuff, what she's involved in, is really cool. So
2020...
I know Bowden would love that movie. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Let's get back to the chart here for a minute, though. And see if there's anything else that we need to talk about. We've got the Sun and Mercury also in Cancer, about to conjunct. One's at 24, one's at 27 degrees in Cancer. Okay. I need to manually make sure so you guys get to see the inside of my Universal Astrology database that I have been working on Airtable for quite some time, honestly, a couple of years. And before I had access to all the different software and stuff on my computer before I redid it, I was manually having to look up a lot more stuff than I am able to now with the programs and whatnot. But I still kind of like to double check because I'm not quite used to this program, so a lot of times I just don't see what I would see, you know. 11, Venus, 10, 11. So Venus, this is what Venus at 11 degrees is currently aligned to. Tijat, part of the Gemini constellation. Seed or branch, symbolically called the abused or beaten one, of the nature of Mercury and Venus. Within 2 degrees of it, on Castor's foot, is Gnorium. Underneath, rear star, naturally. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. And then there was another one that we wanted to check out. Was, I think, Chiron? No. Oh, Hyrdra. That's right. Alright, Hyrdra is the water snake, southern constellation, sitting under constellation Leo and Virgo. It's said to give an emotional and passionate nature, threatened by troubles, and to cause some interest in shipping. Hyrdra of Lerna, with its multiple heads, represents the water snake which Hercules encountered and combated in his second labor. Its stars are now well defined under this single title, but anciently were described with their riders Corvus and Crater. Hyrdra is supposed to be the snake shown on a uranographic stone from the Euphrates of 1200 BC. Okay. So, Astrology King is a great one of my top favorite places to look up just stuff to do with astrology and constellations, particularly. There's other ones that I use as well. That's kind of my default go-to when I'm trying to look for stuff and find interpretations. So. What's giving air so much kind of power and influence today is this moon and Venus being in Gemini, as well as Neptune. Water, on the other hand, the sun, Mercury, sorry, that's Moon and Venus in Gemini. The good news is I'm not seeing any super gnarly indicators with anything to do with more presents. You're amazing.
Just check it out.
Thank you. I wish I had my webcam so I could. Ooh. He brought me a yummy. I'll have to eat that soon. I guess the good news is that I don't see any super crazy indicators, at least in the direct chart, that indicate super bad activity on Earth. I'm not a pro at that though. I'm who can totally predict things like earthquakes and whatnot. However, this chart does not look like a day that's going to receive a lot of earthquakes. However, what's concerning, I guess, is the perfect alignment that we're going to see on the 18th and the 20th. When the moon is over here and it's almost a perfect conjunction still with Mercury. So in a helio chart, check this out. If you look at it from this 3D perspective, around the 18th, we're literally going to have two straight lines. We've got Earth, Moon, Sun, Mercury, and then we also have Mars and Venus like parallel to this. I just think that's really interesting. Uh, and then also around the same time, we're going to be squished between Venus and Jupiter. So later on this month, it's going to get heavy. It's going to get heavy, and then Mercury is going to peekaboo about that same time on the 26th. So we will probably see, we're kind of in a lull right now as far as activity goes with the sun, with earthquakes. I'm not saying that there's no earthquakes going on. God knows that there is. But the last 6 that I saw was a couple days ago now. Yeah, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Let's put up the okay, so we need to look above for 5s. So there hasn't been, okay, 6.0 and another 5.9 down here. That was a couple days ago, right? So for 5 days ago. Yeah, 5 days ago. And I know of at least one earthquake watcher that's kind of sending some watch warnings for this area in Japan. Over here. We're just seeing a lot happening. Right here. Up here near Japan. As well as the US. We've seen some earthquakes up here in the top by Alaska, and more recently, some bigger shakes and things near Mexico over the last couple of weeks. So, again, this is sitting at 4.5, so any earthquakes above 4.5 are sitting here. Now, we should also look at the farther out that the lines are means the deeper that they are in the crust. So if you have a line out here, you can assume that it's that far deep into the crust in which it occurred. However, the lines that are not reaching out past the crust mean that they're happening on this closer to the surface, and those are the ones that actually have like large effects to us as humans. So like those are the big quakes that we experience, and like when our house shakes and things when we're near an earthquake that happens, they're closer to the surface, whereas the deeper ones aren't usually felt, but they're, if you can imagine, I mean, down in the plates of things, there's quite a lot going on down under, especially when you consider suspicious observers, something I watch every day. I mean, yeah, constantly. I'm looking for a specific, I'll have to show it to you guys another time. Anyways, there's a little bit about what's going on in the earthquake realm. There's definitely other people out there that cover this pretty extensively. Thank God. So, I'll leave that up. So I'm not too concerned about today. I'm a little more interested in taking a look at what might happen on the 17th through like the 26th, just because of the alignments of the planets. Definitely always bring activity to us. And we've got some aspecting here that would go on that day between Mars and Lilith. And as he tries to break out of Pisces on the 17th, look, does he do it? Does he do it? No. Okay, so this whole lead up that I've been, when is Mars going to get out, be able to stop swimming? With this new moon, that's when. Of course, the new moon happens on the 18th, and on the 19th is when Mars will get out of Pisces. Okay, so this is an area in the sky. We've got to understand that Aries, apart from the sign and the zodiac and all the jazz, there's hardly anything over there in the sky near Aries. The primary thing that is over there in the vicinity of Aries when you look into the stars is Andromeda, which is the nearest galaxy to us. So the nearest galaxy to us is Andromeda. Well, let's see. There we go. Okay, so let's get on the constellation names so we're not totally confused. Okay, so here's the constellation of Andromeda. Here's the galaxy itself. Okay, and we can see that this is Aries and this is Pisces. So what's really kind of special about the gate between Aries, let's turn off the asteroid belt, hold on, is that it's lined up to Andromeda. The 0 point between Aries and Pisces is Andromeda. It used to be perfect. It's no longer perfect anymore, but it's really freaking close because things do travel in space. So something to keep in mind, that Mars, when it gets out of the Pisces energy, it's gonna cross over that, the alignment with Andromeda and into Aries territory finally. But just saying, in comparison of like traveling through space, there's a lot less over here than there is over here. There's just more going on, not over here. Okay. So that's what we're gonna be watching for in a couple of days, is this lead up to the new moon, because it has a lot of effects, the Sun-Earth complex as well as the Earth-Moon system, binary system, and just the play on the alignments that are happening later in the month. So eyes open, no fear, as suspicious observers will state. Alright guys, that's about it for this episode. If you would like to join me for the live recordings of this and you're watching it on YouTube, please head over to twitch.tv/UniversalAstrology. I go live and start streaming at 10 a.m. every morning. It doesn't mean that's exactly when I start recording the episode, but it does mean I'm live sitting there doing the thing. And I usually go until about 11:30 or noon before I take a break. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I also do a second stream, and I may occasionally upload some clips on YouTube of those streams, but they each have a kind of cool theme. So if you want to head over to Twitch and give me a follow, then you'll be notified when I go live and you can join in. However, if you also just like to watch the reruns on YouTube, that's cool too, and you can just subscribe below. Alright guys, thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't stream over the weekend, so the next time you will see me, it'll be on Monday, and thanks to my amazing followers and friends, I will have a webcam set up by then as well. So, thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day.